Top of the morning to you. I'm Parker. This is Backyard Barn Finds, and I'm standing here with Dave. Dave is the owner of a very, very special car called the Shamrock, car that I've actually never seen in person before, and supposedly there's only 10 in the entire world. So this car was made over in Ireland, and I've never seen one in person before. So Dave, how did you come to acquire this thing, or where did you get it at?
Well, my son collects junk metal and sells it, and a friend of his that flips houses called him one day and said, I got some junk cars up here, can you come get them out of here? So he and his buddy went up there with a trailer, and then he started sending me pictures, and this thing was in the middle of them, and they had no idea what it was.
So to start things off, this car is made completely of fiberglass, and I actually have a fiberglass sports car from the early 50s, and so I have a little bit of love for early fiberglass cars. This would be considered a second generation fiberglass car because it was made in the late 50s, in 1959. That's when they were debuted. And then they actually didn't show up as a finished product until about 1961. And by then the company had failed. See, the goal was to make a luxury car for the American market over in Ireland at a cheaper cost, and that's why this car is called the Shamrock. Right off the bat here, Dave, this car is surprising to me because it has the foldable, removable top still here. And a lot of these cars, when I say a lot, there's only 8 to 10 that have been said to exist, and this one still has the convertible pieces here, so I'm not sure if that makes this like an earlier car, you think, maybe?
Possibly, I don't know.
Possibly. And you were saying that where you guys found this car, it was sitting in that location for 28 years.
That's what they were told. That's what my son was told.
This car would have been a 5-seater, basically convertible, so 2 people up front here, 3 people in the back. I noticed that the trunk lid is missing here. Do you have that piece, or was it destroyed? Or
no, it was missing. We walked all around up there and could not find it on the property. This thing was buried in about 30 years worth of leaves.
Okay.
And we kicked around and we could not find that, or the tail lights.
Oh, the lenses.
Yep, the lenses are missing.
I wonder if that's a one-off piece, or I wonder if they came from something else.
I wondered the same thing. I don't know.
And that's just basically what this car is. I mean, you can see in here, this is the trunk area, and they did kind of put like a coating over the fiberglass, and we'll see. I mean, it was just very crudely made back then, and I'm sure if you broke this piece, you could make another one, but I mean, just a little fiberglass mat. There might be a piece of wood in there. I'm not 100%, but you can see where they just gave it a little bit more rigidity there. But these cars were built on a Austin A55 frame, and they had the Austin A55 running gear. Does this car still have an engine in it?
It does.
Oh, it's still got the logo on there and everything. I mean, that looks like it's probably original to this car.
I believe it is.
Yep. And I was doing a little research online, and it said that the hood of this car was aluminum, but this one is fiberglass. You can see there it does say Shamrock. Dave, they say that there's only 3 of these in the United States currently. They say that there's 2 in California, and then there's 1 in Seattle, but we're in Virginia right now. And you've done a little bit more research than me, and you said that you've heard that there might have been 4 in the United States at one time. What was the story that you were aware of?
It was a guy that apparently he has 1. He might have 2. I think that's the way I read it.
Okay.
And then he said that 4 were shipped to the U.S. So if he has 2, and then there was 1 that was in that Harris collection, I think I'm pronouncing it right, and then this one would make 4.
And you were saying something along the lines of the 4th one, you found that it was wrecked at one time.
And that's what that gentleman said in the article, that one was in New York.
In New York.
And was involved in a wreck. And
you got the New York plates here. And your thought process is, if we go to the back here, that the actual trunk of this car, because you can see the way the fiberglass is kind of through the snow, looks like the trunk may have been broken off.
That's what it appears to be, so I'm just kind of thinking that maybe that was the wreck. that did it.
I do know that they had 3 different grills to this car. The front ends here, they had 3 different versions. If you look in like some of the debut pictures of the car, the one originally had like a curved front end. There were some of them that just had the mesh grille, and then there's 1 or 2 of them that I've seen pictures of that have these little bars here. So I mean, these are parts of this car that are like you would never be able to find.
Yeah.
And then I think you said you might have an emblem or something. And that would have gone on the front.
The front panel.
The front panel there. And I mean, that's definitely a piece that you're probably never going to see again. That would have gone right here. And I have seen the restored ones, and when you originally showed me this, I have seen them with the emblems right here.
That fits perfect.
Yeah, right here on the steering wheel. So I'm not sure which part that would have went. It looks like it goes in the front though. Now I kind of wanted to see, you know, how the fiberglass was done on this car. Did they use a lot of matte or did they use the cloth? And it looks like this fiberglass is a lot thicker than I thought it would be. I wasn't sure if this was kind of like a flimsy car, if that makes sense. But the good thing is you have the windows here.
Yep.
And I don't know if we want to roll them up or not, but where else are you going to find windows for a car like this? And speaking of the windows, the front windshield on this car looks almost like a 55 Chevy window, but it belongs to a 59 Vauxhall. I believe what they did was they actually flipped it upside down. So I believe this is the bottom part of the cowl from the 59 Vauxhall. These cars were designed to be a luxury car for the American market at a cheap cost. And to kind of show you how luxury this car would have been back in the day, is even the visor right here had a mirror in the visor. And remember that this car is made of fiberglass, and there's really not a whole lot to it. It just has 2 seats with some, you can see it has some almost like a boat interior from the 50s, and that's kind of like the way that this feels. I believe these cars were about $3 grand new back in 1960. I'm not sure how expensive that was back then, but I'm assuming it was probably a little bit too expensive because they didn't sell very well. The last thing that I kind of want to go over that I've read online says that you cannot remove the rear tires from this car, but you were telling me that you were actually able to get the wheels off of here.
Yep, we put new tires on it. The old ones were dry rotted, and just to make it mobile, I ordered 4 tires, and yeah, we swapped them and no problem. We didn't have to do any of that.
So what I mean by that is, if you go online and you do research on this car, it basically tells you that you could not remove the rear tire without dropping the whole rear axle unit. And of course, I don't know if this car is just a little bit different than the other ones built, but Dave says that he was able to take a wheel on and off of this car, no problems. Do you mind if we look in like the glove box or anything?
No, get right here.
I kind of wanted to see what it would look like in there. Looks like there may have been like a little cloth or just some sort of, okay. Nothing too crazy. And then you actually told me that you have a tag to this car.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we take a look at it?
Yeah, I'll go grab it real quick.
The tag of this car would have been up here on the cowl. You can see the 4 holes for it. Right here, of course, that would have been the ID number. But in case we weren't sure what kind of car this was, we can see that it was manufactured by Shamrock Motors Limited in Ireland. And then it says Shamrock Convertible. And the one thing that kind of drew my attention to this car is that it has SH. I believe that's SH. But then it has the vehicle number 102. And the way that they actually ID or tag vehicles in some manufacturers is they don't really start with a 0. They would start with a 1 and then it would be 02. Now, that makes me think that this could be a real early car or one of the first cars made. And if you guys agree with that, if you want to leave a comment below and let me know what you guys think. And the good thing is you have all of the lights, most of the chrome is still here, all of the bumperettes are still here. The fiberglass is actually in pretty decent shape. As far as, like, you could sand down the top coat of this just a little bit. You don't want to get rid of the shape, but it's pretty thick fiberglass, and the frame from the top side looks pretty decent. You mind if we look in the back here? And
Nope.
Now this would have been an Austin A55 frame, and I'm not an Austin A50. I don't think I've ever seen one of those in person. So
I don't think I have either.
I don't know if that rear end is from an Austin. You were thinking maybe it could be from an MG? Or...
I read something somewhere about maybe some parts were robbed from MGs.
Okay.
But not real for sure.
Now, what is the plan for this car, Dave? Are you planning on selling this car? Or are you planning on restoring it, or what?
Not real sure yet.
Okay.
I don't have time or necessarily the desire to do it. I've got other projects. But how often do you come across a 1 in
8, 10?
Yeah.
Whatever's
car in your
left.
lifetime?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you.
So not quite sure what the plan is yet, but definitely wanted to get it out of the mountains where it was and save it.
I totally agree with that. If someone watching the video wants to make an offer on the car, how would they get a hold of you? Just contact me and I can contact you?
That would probably be the easiest.
That would be the easiest?
Yep.
Okay, we can definitely do that. I wanted to kind of show them what underneath the car looks like here real quick. Just something else that I was noticing is that the frame on this car was kind of spliced together here at the front. It looks like that's where the natural frame would have ended. And I think that that's done like that because this car is so long. They just needed a way to extend out enough metal to hang the front end and hang the back end on. And I think I read somewhere that they're about 17 feet long.
I think that's what I read too.
And they only had about 50 horsepower. So they weren't, they were too big for people over in Ireland, and they weren't fast enough for the people in the United States.
Yep.
And that's really why these cars didn't end up selling that well. I appreciate you letting us see it, and I appreciate you letting the world see this car.
Yep.
So
Not
Dave,
a problem.
I appreciate it.
Pleasure.